One of the biggest mottos of mini-THON is FTK. This stands for the kids. Everything and anything we do for mini-THON, we will have this motto in the forefront of our minds, and so should you.
About 37 kids in the United States are diagnosed with cancer every day.
Over 35,000 kids in the United States are currently in treatment for cancer.
About 25% of all kids with cancer will not survive.
This is why we're hosting mini-THON for the kids.
We've brought some special guests today to tell you the story of their fight against pediatric cancer. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. Mix's friends, Jill Sperry and her son Kyle.
First of all, let me tell you what an honor it is for Kyle and I to be asked by my friend, Mrs. Mixa, to speak with all of you today about this, because this is obviously something that's very important to us as a family. I want to thank you for embarking on this adventure. The planning and organizing of a mini-THON is going to be an experience for you all to remember. We met last spring some students at Bethlehem area who did a mini-THON, and they invited us to the event, and it was just a really, really moving experience, and they all came up to us and said just how the whole process, they learned just an amazing amount. When I was your age, I'm quite sure I wasn't aware, and I certainly wasn't working to raise awareness for pediatric cancer. What a great change, and such an important time for us with the fight against cancer, because obviously that was amazing when I just saw all of you stand up, just about, for being impacted by cancer. Little did I know that when I was 1 week away from having my third child, my second one, who's here, who was 3 years old at the time, was going to be diagnosed with cancer. At my age, I was 38 at the time. I didn't think there were words I hadn't learned in life. I thought I pretty much knew all that. I learned new vocabulary that day when Kyle was diagnosed with rhabdomyosarcoma, which is a very rare solid tumor pediatric cancer. They told us that day that only about 200 kids a year in the United States get diagnosed with that particular cancer. During that next year, Kyle had 2 surgeries and a year of weekly chemotherapy using 2 different drugs. I learned that year that we weren't so rare, and that we found a lot of families at our clinic that might different types of pediatric cancer, not Kyle's, but there's so many different kinds. And they were facing our same fears, our same unknowns, and they were also looking for hope, just like we were. After a year of treatment at age 4, Kyle was cancer-free. He continued with monitoring, a lot of scans, a lot of follow-up, and we made it past the 5-year mark. We thought for sure we were celebrating. This cancer was gone. It was a thing of his past. 8 years after that first diagnosis, when Kyle was 11, Kyle found a lump growing in the exact same place as it was the first time. He was diagnosed again with the exact same cancer at the exact same place at 11 years old, 8 years later. The pediatric oncologist and all of our pediatricians were shocked. They said this never comes back this late. So in order to find the appropriate treatment this time, to what to do with this such a rare follow-up, we were sent down to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and met with a specialist who would come up with the best path to treat it so it could be gone for good this time. He came up with a protocol that even our oncologist said was going to be grueling, debilitating, and life-altering. This time we needed, at first, 2 surgeries, both that were longer than 6 hours, to remove not only the tumor, but 50 lymph nodes along Kyle's spine and a number down in his groin to check to see if the cancer had spread. He was found to have only 1 lymph node out of all those that was positive. His treatment this time would include 5 different chemotherapy drugs and a month-long series of daily proton beam radiation down at the University of Pennsylvania. These drugs had to be given inpatient. So over that year, Kyle spent more than 70 nights in the hospital. And these drugs that not only kill the cancer cells, also cause a lot of other side effects. Kyle lost his hair, he lost his fingernails and his toenails. He suffered a lot of infections in his lungs, and you hear about mouth sores with cancer patients. Those mouth sores can go all the way through your GI tract. When you kill all the cancer cells, you're also killing all your good cells, your red blood cells, your white blood cells. So he needed more than 30 units of blood, which are blood transfusions, and about the same as platelets. He got nightly injections at home to help those white blood cells recover. And he also had a number of medications, anti-nausea, appetite stimulants, anti-anxiety drugs, antidepressants, and he lost about 20 pounds when he started that treatment. But a year later, again, Kyle's cancer-free. We kept a daily kind of journal and a caring bridge that Mrs. Mixer probably read when we were going along. And usually I would be the one writing, and I would give all the details of this is where our treatment is, this is what we're doing next. And then Kyle decided after a while he would kind of chime in on a few of them and give some of his feelings of how he felt. So he's going to read you a couple of his entries right now from his journal.
This one was on October 11, 2013. This is Kyle, not Jill. I just got into the hospital. I'll tell you why. I had a fever of 100. What? I had a fever of 100 last night, and it just had to stay till the morning. So we got to the clinic. Some people started crying, and we take my temperature and it's 99.5. It just had to go down then. Then I'll tell you what's going to happen. I'll get blood and platelets and do some other drugs at the hospital. October 14th, typing for Kyle every day.
It's Kyle again. Yeah,
Okay, Kyle again. I feel better than yesterday, but I still feel like candy poop. Last night didn't go so well. The nurse took like 10 minutes for my blood return. My brother said he was coming over, but I'm still waiting. Then I'm going to get another unit of blood soon. The picture attached is a bear and a nightlight lava lamp that I got last night. I'm typing for Kyle every day, October 14th, 2013. Still in hospital, getting more blood today. Must be losing some because of metastasis in intestinal tract. Still need white blood cells to show up. Kyle now isn't canned poop. He's getting angry. There is this pain scale on the wall, 0 to 10, and Kyle added 11, so angry with a mad face. Maybe I can get our writer back on later. Kyle again, October 14th. Hello all, I'm Kyle and I want to get out of here. Hopefully I'll have at least one white blood cell tomorrow. I just finished the Lego I got today, so I passed some time. My brothers are coming over to visit me later tonight, so maybe I can do something with them. Even when I wasn't at the hospital, I wasn't feeling great. After school, at least 3 times a week, my teacher came over for an hour or two to work on schoolwork. I also missed school pretty much half the year. I had a lot of work to catch up on. I have been to a mini-THON before, and it was really fun. They had a different theme every hour. Glow Hour was my favorite. They also had a line dance every hour. All the kids had a good time. Thanks for doing this event for other kids facing treatment for cancer.
And this is where I just wanted to tell you a couple things of why I think this raising money is so important and what you're all going to do with this mini-thon. We need research. We need more research to help find new drugs. There have been very few drugs to fight pediatric cancer in the last 20 years. There was a fair bit of development done before that, but a lot of these drugs Kyle got are old. They've been around for a long time, and that's where these side effects that he suffered from are there, because we really need some new therapies and we need some new treatments. The side effects can be life-altering and they can be very debilitating. Kyle is sterile and many of these children have that. They will never be able to have children of their own because of the drugs that they receive and the radiation treatments. In 2 more weeks from now, Kyle has 6 different scans coming up. We'll have 2 MRIs, an ultrasound, and a chest x-ray, first to see if any cancer cells are back or returned in his body. And he also is going to have an EKG and an echocardiogram, because some of the drugs he received can cause heart failure. So we will continue for the rest of Kyle's life to monitor his heart function. These are just a few of the long-term side effects. This is from his cancer. The other cancers have even different ones. So we need better and new treatments. Even if we can cure this, we need to make sure the treatment